So our muscle of the day is the hamstrings. So that is the back of the thigh, so that goes from your sit bone down to the back of the knee. It helps bend the knee here. It also helps extend the hip back. So pulling the thigh bone backwards, and you can do both at the same time. So that's what the hamstring does. Here's a little bit more basics about it. The hamstring, just like the quads from last week, is actually multiple muscles. So the first one we'll go over is the biceps femoris. So this is looking at the back of a person where you can see where, there it goes into focus, is connecting there at the sit bone, and then it crosses the femur and it attaches down on the outside of the knee. So that is the biceps femoris. The second one is the semitendinosus. So again, almost same attachment point, just a little bit different spot of the sit bone. And then traces across on the inside of the knee here, connects on the inside of the knee. And then finally, we have the semimembranosus. Again, attaches at the sit bone here, and then again attaches on this part of the inside of the knee. So whenever people are talking about hamstrings, they're not just talking about one muscle. It is actually these three guys working together. There we go. I don't know if the comments are in the way if you guys are looking at a phone, but they are working together again to bend the knee and to extend the hip. So let me demonstrate a couple things here. So in the workout today, we looked at the deadlift. The deadlift is one that works those hamstrings. So we did the Romanian in particular. So we'll press the hips back. That'll help stretch the top part of the hamstring, but the bottom part of the hamstring will contract to help bend the knees as you bow forward. And then the opposite will happen when you stand up. When you stand up, the bottom part towards the knee will extend, whereas the top part will start to flex to help support the top part of that movement. And so they help bend the knee and stabilize the knee joint as it bends and extends. And we also did lunges. Lunges is another one where those hamstrings will contract at the knee as you lower down, on both knees actually. And there's a little bit of extension up here at the hip, and then lifting back up, they will both lengthen out. You got the squeeze of the quads, little extension of the hamstring here at the top. So we did that with our sprinter hops. And then the bridges, this is one that works the hamstrings quite a bit. Sometimes people will get cramps with this one, so a simple bridge, toes are forward, lifting the hips up. You have, again, that contraction of the hamstring here at the top of the hip, but you also have it here at the knee joint. So this is one where both sides of the hamstring are very much involved. Sometimes people get hamstring cramps. So that's a common one there. If you do, shake it out, make sure you get enough water, and then try again. To stretch out the hamstrings, there's a couple different options. So you can place a heel on a chair. It can be low, be a little higher up for more challenge. You're just going to place the heel on the chair here. I'm going to squeeze the quad. I'm going to flex the toes back towards my ankle. I'm going to press my hips back and bow forward until you feel a stretch on the back of the hamstring. You can bend the standing leg as much as you need. You can hold that for 30 seconds. Another version, again, kind of catering to a little bit more of the back of the hip here, the top part of the hip, is you keep the bend in the knee, and this one's a little trickier. You're going to press the hips back until you feel a stretch. It might be more in the top of the hip or the back of the hip. And again, you're just going to hold that position again for 30 seconds. And of course, you got two sides, so make sure you show some TLC to both sides. Now, the thing with hamstrings and stretching is that if you are experiencing any sciatic pain, so that shooting pain down the legs, I would recommend not doing a hamstring stretch until you've gotten that checked out by a professional, either like a chiropractor or physical therapist, just to make sure that with that hamstring stretch, you're not fraying the nerve itself. We don't want that, because it does tend to stretch out that nerve. If it's being pinched somewhere else, that can actually cause more damage. So if you are experiencing sciatic pain, try to not do hamstring stretches until you know the source of the sciatic pain itself. All right, so that is the hamstrings. Why are they important? They are really important for posture, so especially for standing upright. Make sure those hips are nice and strong. They're great for sprinting, like launching off. So like the sprinting, fast-paced things gives you a lot of power. So they're very, very, very important for things like in sports, but also, as we age, that's a common thing that I talk to my clients a lot. Simple things like sitting down in a chair. So if I sit down on this bench here, being able to control myself down to sit on that seat is very important, versus sometimes people just, they flop down because they don't have the strength in their hamstrings and their quads to slow their descent. So being able to contract the hamstrings with control to sit down gently and not jar the rest of the body or the spine is very important as we age as well. So there are the basics of the hamstrings, and I hope that stuff gives you a good start and a better understanding for your workouts as well.